Good morning, everybody. It is your baby boomer Kitty Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia. Yes, I know it is 7:20 in the morning. I get it. But I think I'm kind of venting a little bit. A whole lot with YouTube. Because these videos that I keep trying to upload, I'm not uploading. And it's like I'll get one to go through. And then when it's time to do the next one, it's not going through. And I'm seething a little. I am. And then the fact that I had to take this completely loose last night. When somebody comes in or when I get ready to say goodbye, I'll show you the progress or lack thereof. I don't think I want to start that one right there. I want to do that there. Good morning. Good morning. I know this is so atypical. Ooh. Sorry about that. Good morning. Had a little head rush. Hmm. Good morning. Come on in the room. Maybe somebody can keep me from strangling technology. Good morning, sis. How are you? I'm so frustrated with YouTube right now. I really, really am. I keep. Okay, so the problem is this. I recorded like close to 30 videos. I did it on my Chromebook. And where I thought I was having trouble going to YouTube with it, the problem was actually converting them over to my phone. So I did another video, was able to get it through, followed the exact same steps, thinking, okay, I can get the rest of these uploaded now. Didn't work. So then the other light bulb went off. Good morning, Sue Ann. How are you? So happy to see you. So the light bulb went off and says, okay, why don't you just upload them from the Chromebook? No, no, that's not working either. I have 16 videos sitting in queue, ready to go. So then last night, I recorded another whole video from my phone, thinking, okay, well, if we got to do it this way, we just got to do it this way. And that one either. Woo! I have to laugh because I refuse to cry. I refuse. YouTube will not get these tears. No, they will not. I got some more stuff I'd like to tell YouTube, but I don't think that's too ladylike. And then this poncho. Y'all, let me tell you about this poncho. I dreamed about this poncho Saturday night. So I got up and I pulled my yarns, and I had in my stash just about everything I needed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make this work. I'm going to make this work using all yarn from my stash. So we got yarns and yarns and more yarns and more yarns and even yarns in the bag holding the phone up. So I'm like, great, we're good to go. We've got plenty of yarn. And then that little voice said, count. So I decided to count the round that I was on. And of course, with this being a poncho, it's worked like a huge granny square, which I'm already a little frustrated with that, but I'm excited to see it when it comes out because I can already see part of it. But my count was off, and I couldn't figure out where the count was off. So I frogged the whole thing. When I tell you, I know my cheeks must be red. Just thinking about it, it's making me like, oh my goodness. The poncho, y'all, was like down to here. So, of course, after frogging and getting frustrated and laying down, taking a nap and eating dinner and then going to sleep and getting up this morning, it's nowhere near there now. And I was hoping to have it finished last night, definitely by today, but no. Mm-mm. Did all of this one? Hmm. Nothing wanted to cooperate. Mm-mm. Not even a little bit. Hmm. I had to count. I started the design a little lower. So it was imperative for me to count down to the design. So I was like the third row in on the design. And like I said, that little voice said count because all I was counting was the first 11 stitches. And when I started counting, it just was not, it wasn't working. The math wasn't mathing. The adding wasn't adding. The counting wasn't counting. Everything was just going awry. But did manage to get the collar redone, blended into my pink, into my orange. There we are. And the design has started. And I'm so, so excited to see it play out. I am really excited to see it play out. And I think well, I don't know because I love doing tapestry crochet and filet crochet. I love putting designs in filet crochet, which is essentially what I'm doing, but it's on the reverse end. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But instead of filling in the circles, I'm leaving the circles open. And the first time I attempted it was probably about 10 years ago. I My family and I used to duck pin bowl, and my oldest daughter, my mother, and myself used to be a part of a tour, the Lady All Stars of Virginia, and it was fun. It was fun. Of course, when Mom passed, it wasn't fun anymore. So we haven't bowled since then. But at any rate, between bowling, the way I would relax and calm down until my next turn is I would crochet. And you know how it is. Sometimes you have a project to work on, sometimes you don't. But knowing that crochet calmed me down, I always had it with me. And this particular time, I had a bag full of yellow yarn. And I typically don't like working with just one color. But as I started crocheting, I started filling in blocks on the right, making sure it equal to the one on the left. And then I would expand those blocks. And when I held it up and looked at it, I was like, wow, this looks like the tips of butterfly wings. So without even really giving it much thought, just following the pattern, I made the most beautiful butterfly in that yellow yarn during that tour. And the way the tours ran, we would get there Friday evening, everybody would meet up. We'd usually cook out and drink silly and, go in and sober up for bowling the next. But we didn't do a lot of drinking in my room because we didn't like for my mama to drive. If the speed limit said 45, my mama was going to do every bit of 30. And we didn't want our nerves wrecked before we went bowling. So we took the driving responsibility away from her. So my daughter and I knew that we had to stay sober so that either one of us could take the wheel at any time. And when we would get to the bowling alley the next morning, of course we would all check in, do our opening announcements, everything to open up a ceremony, and then we'd pick our teams, or if we had signed up for teams, our teams were already assembled, and then we would start bowling. Just like bowling, league bowling, you bowl your turn, you go sit down and wait for your turn again. So I would always start a project at the beginning of the tour, which was that Friday night when we got there. And I didn't, I've always been kind of a loner. If I didn't feel comfortable in a crowd, I'd, make my presence known. Hey, how you doing? And go find my corner somewhere and plop it down. But they were very embracing to my mom and my daughter, but not so much to me. But they were all interested in my crocheting, and they were my biggest clients, actually, as far as the crocheting was concerned, because they were always buying blankets and things. So that Saturday, when we started bowling, of course, I would get more into the crocheting, and the project would be much bigger than it was that Friday night when everybody saw it start, and they're like, that's not the same piece. Yeah, it's the same piece. So then we'd find out who moved on to the next day. And that was when we'd have our roll offs. And of course, you have to be really focused in the roll offs because that determines who wins the prizes. So it was always fun to have those 3 days away. My mom, for a long time, didn't think I was having fun. And I'm like, look, I didn't have to go to work. And I think I joined the league when I was working at Dollar General. So, and where I worked was a bad part of town. It was in downtown Portsmouth. We had a lot of, the largest part of Portsmouth's homeless community was downtown. And so, of course, in our store, there was a lot of theft. And I would tell my mama all the time, look, I don't have to police a store. I don't have to run up to the register to fix somebody's problem. And I was speaking mainly of the employees there, and that I've told 100 times, don't do it this way, do it this way, but they think it's easier to do it their way just to find out it doesn't work. So, yes, I'm having fun. I'm relaxing. And then we always pick like a cool mom and pop restaurant to go to on the way back home. We've had a lot of traveling experiences that, oops, wait a minute, going too far, that were like really, really great. And I wouldn't trade those memories for anything. Do have a funny story to tell y'all while you're here. So I think I have told all of you before that I'm arachnophobic. I am severely arachnophobic. To tell you how severe it is, I just recently got to the point that I could deal with the Halloween spiders. I've known all these years that they're not real. I know that, but it's a spider. Now, unlike the heart attack spider story, this one is actually funny. So we're on our way to church one night. I know right there, that's funny. I just got through telling you how we drink on the tour. And now we're going to church. But we were on our way to church for a midweek service. And I'm driving my Toyota Avalon. My mom is sitting in the front seat beside me. My daughter's in the back seat. And I had just purchased the car. It only had one owner before me. It was absolutely beautiful. It was a 2002, and it looked like it was probably more like a 2015. It was absolutely beautiful. My daughter spilled a Dr. Pepper in the back seat. Now, you would think at the age of 30 something, I'll leave hers there, that she would know to hold the soda and not sit it on the floor. So, feeling my disdain, I wasn't angry, but I wasn't happy either. She sees something in the back seat and doesn't tell me until we get to a signal light on a busy road on Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, if you're familiar with the area. And she says, Mom, there's a spider on your headrest. She learned that day. Car in gear, driver got out of the car. I don't do spiders. My mom is yelling, get back in the car, get back in the car. So my daughter has to jump from the back seat to the front seat to stop the car. And she's like, Mom, I killed it. I am so sorry. I forgot you were afraid of spiders. And I had to tell you that because the real funny part came up about a month later. My daughter and I, my mom was not well enough to travel with us at this point. So my daughter and I went to one of the bowling tournaments in Silver Springs, Maryland. And we actually stayed in, I think it was Gathersburg, if I'm not mistaken. Well, wherever it was, we didn't stay where everyone else stayed because at the time I was working for Marriott Property. So no matter how cheap they got the rooms for as a group, I was always able to use my employee rate and spend less than half of what they were spending. So we're on our way to the bowling alley that Saturday morning. And when we took our first exit onto another highway, there was a police officer that pulled in behind us. And, she and I were laughing and joking about it because of another incident we had with a police officer about a year prior to. And I'm chuckling, but I'm not like guffawing laughing. My daughter says to me, after you make this right turn right here, I need you to pull over. And I'm like, Nikki, all you got to do is tell me where the bowling alley is, because she was doing the navigating. Just, I can drive. I got it. And she goes, no, I need you to pull over the first chance you get. I'm like, he doesn't have his lights on. She says, Mom, trust me, please. Just pull over. So I drove probably about a mile and a half down this side road and I pulled over. She said, don't get out. Don't get out. Don't get out. Just look straight ahead. I want you to see something. Looking straight ahead, and I'm trying to see what she's talking about. And she opens the door from the outside and she reaches where I would have reached to open the door. And there was this huge brown spider in that door. I crawled across the seat and got out on the passenger side. I don't do spiders, y'all. Mm-mm. No, no. Mm-mm. I know that we are all a part of creation, but the, I don't think we were all meant to commingle either. I'm sorry. Nothing in me says that I was meant to commingle with spiders. Nothing. Mm-mm. Not at all. But the funny thing is, I don't fear snakes like that. I can see a snake and look at it long enough to try to determine what kind of snake it is. And as long as he's not in my way, my path, my space, we're fine. We're fine. Um, I've never used a hoe on a snake. I've never, done a lawnmower with a snake. I've never done any of that. We have picked up things in the yard and all of a sudden been surprised with what lies beneath. Okay, I'm confusing myself. Y'all, I'm so confused right now. There we go. Okay, I'm back on track. Yeah, but I don't run from snakes. Now bugs, that's something different. They are right along the lines with. I don't know. It's like the more legs they have, the harder I run. Came from the store and there was a very long in the door in the floor. Bless your heart. But yeah, and then I think the fact that I used to own one, it wasn't, a typical garter snake or, anything like that. I had an albino boa. Yeah, I should say I co-owned her because she was actually the property of the guy I was dating at the time. And he joined the military and asked me to keep her. I didn't have a problem with her. I had a problem with her diet. Yeah, she was picky. She didn't like the frozen food. She wanted the live food. And the only rodents I have ever owned in my life were several rabbits and a squirrel. I don't I don't I don't I don't do I am I don't know if I'm worse with those, the invaders, or The spiders. I don't know. Good morning, Dorothea. How are you? I need to pop up in the mornings. It be on and popping in the mornings. Oh my goodness. I am going to come back at 12 o'clock. What I'm going to do until I figure this out, being that I have 2 days a week set aside to drop the ASL videos, I am actually going to be putting those out here on Tuesdays and Thursdays when I do my lives. I keep the ASL videos short so it can be a part of that segment on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that way it can be watched in the reruns as well and the repeats as well, until I figure out what I can do to get some sort of consistency in getting these videos out. I don't know. My daughter has gone through each of the steps with me, and she's like, Mom, I don't know. And we honestly think it has something to do with our internet service. The internet service here is not the greatest. If I walk from my bedroom to the living room and I'm on a call, the call might drop. If I'm sitting on my porch right here, it's virtually impossible for me to hold a telephone conversation. So we're thinking that it's more internet than anything. So I may have to go to a different location to upload. And it's sad because when I'm on my scooter, sometimes I'm on the phone, and as long as I'm riding and moving, fine, I can keep the call. It's just this little gray area in here. And what I think is going on is that everybody has their own internet. We have access to the internet in the rental office, but then you have 120 units, and all of us are on different bands. And I think that the bands just cross so much, unless you're in this one localized space. But my daughter's is pretty good, and I don't get it. And I think what might be there, because I got a little logic for that too. Her room is the central point. She's between my room and the living room. So she's bouncing off of whatever's hitting out there in the living room. But she has the same problem on the porch that I have. We just don't get any reception out there on the porch. But if we step out in the middle of the parking lot, reception is fine. Go figure. Go figure. So, like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the ASL on like today at 12, Thursday at 12. I'm going to start popping up on Saturdays as well, and shoot some ASL to you on Saturdays too. And it's not going to be, long, just a little live session to get everybody together. So my intentions were not to hold everybody else up a long time. I really just wanted to pop up and let everybody know what was going on. And then I see all the amazing people who have come in, and it makes my heart sing. It makes me so happy. So hopefully at 12 o'clock, I will be able to show you some real pretty with these colors, because I will be back at 12. Open, close. If my fashion diva is awake by then. Nope, I don't want it open there. I want it closed there. There we go. Then I don't know if she'll model it for me or not, but she'll tell me what I have to do next. I like getting her input. It makes her feel important because she is important, just like each one of you. So I'm dropping this right here, and I'm going to let you all know that I would like for you all to always remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kitty Lane told you. Remember, Kitty Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.